Hey everyone, welcome to Learn Kartra Live. Thanks for joining us here today. Looks like we have people already joining the room. Awesome. So, welcome everyone. We're going to kick this off in a little bit, just give it probably a minute or two extra for some people to join. And if this is your first time joining us for one of these, pretty much we are going to be teaching you about a topic in Kartra. So sit back, relax, get a snack ready, say hi in the chat if you want. And along the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. This is being recorded, so don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. You can always watch it back afterwards. We'll send you a copy of the recording in an email later on today. So hey everyone, hey Frank, nice to see you. Walter, great for you to join us. All right, let's see, we got about a good amount of people already joining here, so we'll kick it off here soon. Hey, Jessica, I don't think it's a 2-hour class. Yeah, it's only about 1 hour. We'll get into it there. Hey, Tim. All right, guys, well, let's kick it off here. If anyone else trickles in, they can always watch the recording afterwards. So, yeah, like I said, my name is Alex, and I'm going to be your host today. I'm also joined by Shannon, who you'll see on my left here, and we are part of the Kartra onboarding team. So you may have seen us if you met with us for an onboarding call. Part of what we do is meet with new customers to kind of show them the ropes of Kartra, get them comfortable with the platform and feel confident using it. And hosting these live events is just another way that we do that. So with these, really the goal is to kind of introduce you to a Kartra topic and hope you feel confident afterwards going in, building out your calendars, which is today's topic. So what we're going to go over is turning your visits into bookings with Kartra calendars. All right. And today this is kind of a breakdown of how the event is going to run. We're going to start with a calendar overview. So that's what I'm going to do here, kind of run you through a little presentation where we'll go over what calendar type is best for your business, since there are 4 different types once you go in and start building in Kartra, how Kartra makes it easier for you to manage scheduling, and how Kartra helps protect your time. And the demonstration portion, which Shannon is actually going to handle, is how to build a Kartra calendar. So she's going to show you and walk you through from scratch inside your Kartra account. And then afterwards, we are going to get into a live Q&A. So during the presentation, during the live demo, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to them all afterwards. And without further ado, let's go ahead and kick it off. All right, so starting with the basics, what is a Kartra calendar? Well, simply put, it's a tool that lets people schedule time with you online. So think of it like something like Calendly, Acuity. It's a tool that people are accessing and they can book a call with you. Once a calendar is set up, Kartra is going to handle everything for you. This includes things like bookings, payments, confirmation and reminder emails, and even meeting room generation and providing all the links to you and your attendees. So what we're going to get into today is kind of explaining how Kartra is doing all of these things for you. And hopefully you guys can start building your own calendars to use them for your business. And here is an example of a Kartra calendar. Now you'll see on the left-hand side that it just has kind of a description of what the calendar is. So it's going to show things like the calendar name, a little image, and the description. But on the right-hand side is really where the calendar is, right? This is where people are going to see what events you have available. Then they're going to schedule. This is actually the schedule tab. So they'll go ahead and choose their time. Then they'll go on to register and book that call with you. So it's a pretty simple layout, right? You just have the calendar on the right-hand side and some general information on the left-hand side. And then it always has the drop down for the time zone as well. So let's hear from you guys before we kind of jump into all of this. We want to know, what type of sessions and meetings do you guys plan on hosting for your business? In a little bit here, we're going to go over the 4 different calendar types. So kind of providing us with that information will let us connect the dots for you, right? Because it can be a little I would say when you're going in and building your Kartra calendar, kind of deciding which calendar type to choose from is really the first step. So determining, what kind of classes you are hosting will also help us figure out, which calendar type is best for you when we get into that. So feel free to share with us in the chat. Let's see if we have any in there so far. I can tell you guys, for us, for our onboarding calls, we are going to be doing one-on-one meetings, right? So pretty much we meet with one-on-one coaching, kind of like calls, Holly says, but they also do group coaching and online training. Awesome. So let's see, one-on-one onboarding sessions. Yep. Multi-day classes. Cool. So kind of a variety, right? And where Kartra really shines and what you'll see is that there really is a calendar type for anything that you are trying to host. So let's go ahead. If you guys want to keep putting them in the chat, that's great. And we'll go into it here with the first kind of breakdown. And this is when you're in Kartra, there's kind of two different types, right? It's based on, are you meeting with one person? And you'll see that there's two different calendars for that system. So if you're meeting with one person, the consultant calendar is the first option that you could choose from. And this one is designed specifically for one-on-one appointments. So it's perfect for things like strategy calls, consultations, any sort of client check-ins, discovery calls, anything where you are setting your availability, people are choosing one of those times, and that event is happening once. And the recurrent calendar is pretty similar to the consultant calendar, as it's designed for one-on-one meetings, but where it differs is it's designed for ongoing one-on-one meetings. So think about this like ongoing coaching calls or private classes where you're meeting with someone multiple times one-on-one, or any sort of routine one-on-one meetings. With this calendar, people are still choosing from your availability, but instead of just meeting with you once, they're going to meet with you on a routine basis. Maybe that be weekly, bi-weekly, you're able to kind of set that rotation there. And then the other two types of Kartra calendars are going to be the ones that are designed for meeting with a group of people. So just like it sounds, the live event calendar is built for one-time events. So this webinar that we're hosting here is a great example of something that you would use a live event calendar for, right? Because it's a one-time event that multiple people are signing up for. It's great for workshops, webinars, Q&A sessions, any sort of product demos. Again, anything where it's a one-off event that a group of people are signing up to join. And then lastly is the gym calendar, and you'll see a common theme. It's just like the live event calendar, but it's recurring. So it's designed for those recurring group sessions. And that's where the name kind of comes into. Don't let the gym name kind of fool you, because it can be more used for more than just fitness or wellness classes, even though that's really where the name comes from. You can use it for any sort of other classes, whether they be like educational or training based. Maybe you're doing some group coaching, or maybe you're doing routine meetings with a group. Anything, again, that is recurring with a group of people, that's what your gym calendar is going to be best used for. So kind of looking through the chat here, looks like most people are doing discovery calls, one-on-ones. Again, that is going to be best handled with the consultant calendar if you're meeting with people for those one-on-one trainings. If it's kind of an ongoing coaching call, one-on-ones, then you'll want to do the recurrent option. Whereas if you're doing more of those workshops, those ongoing trainings, or you're doing up to 40 people, I think Michelle was mentioning, right, you'll kind of want to look into these two types of calendars, right? Is it a one-off event, or is it an ongoing recurring session that people are booking with you? All right. So how do you plan on meeting with people now that you know which calendar type to choose? Well, Kartra calendars actually handles in-person meetings or virtual meetings. And if you are meeting with people virtually, you want to connect a meeting room integration. So here you can see that Kartra seamlessly integrates with Google Meet or Zoom based on your preferences. And it's going to do things like generate all the meeting rooms for you and share all of the links for you and all of your participants. So there's really no work that you have to do after making sure that your integration is connected. All you have to do is build out your calendar, and then anytime you schedule a session or anytime somebody books with you, those things are going to be automatically generated by Kartra for you. So you don't have to do any back and forth between Kartra and Zoom or Kartra and Google Meet. All right. And how are people going to book with you? So now that you know how people are going to meet with you, right, the registration process is kind of the next thing to think about. So more specifically, will your registration be free or will it be paid? With free booking, the process is pretty simple. You can see it here. Pretty much somebody will go to book a time slot with you, and then all they have to do is sign up. So they'll have to provide their contact information, and you can request any information that you want, right? I think first name, email address are always mandatory, but maybe you want to have, request more information like what they're interested in, or maybe some information about their business, or maybe you have a little few questions that you ask people before the session to kind of get an idea of, what they are and who they are before you meet with them. The paid option just adds another step in there. So after the sign up, somebody has to complete the checkout before their booking is confirmed. And that checkout is going to be seamlessly within the actual booking process. So they don't have to go out anywhere to go and handle that payment. They'll go and book, choose their time, and then the checkout is going to appear directly within that booking calendar for them. Alrighty, next is how do you manage those bookings, right? So Kartra provides you with two options depending on how much control you want over your sessions. With automatic approval, the booking is confirmed and then the session is automatically approved. So what that means, as soon as somebody books a session with you, Kartra is going to automatically approve it, and that session, they're going to get their confirmation and everything like that. Whereas with manual booking, again, it's adding an extra step in there. Once somebody confirms their booking, that booking is submitted to you for review. So you're going to have to go into your account, kind of see all of the new booking requests that you have for the day, and you can say, oh, I want to meet with this person, approve them or decline them based on your preferences. And what's cool is you can have your approval message, decline messages go out all automated based on these things. And it really helps you protect your time, right? So maybe you're someone that is doing free calls, but you want to make sure that you're meeting with the right people before so that you're not wasting any time. You could have, some of your sign up process have important information, and you can review the contact's profile for any approvals that are coming in. So you can say, okay, this person is worth it. I'm going to go ahead and meet with them and approve. Whereas maybe somebody's might not be worth your time. So you reach out to them and request a little more information before, you start dedicating that for them. All right. And then after that, how are you going to manage your personal time? Well, there is another integration, and that is the Google Calendar integration that you can add to your calendars. And this is a great way to block any personal time, right? So think of your Kartra calendars as your business calendars, right? They're going to handle all the scheduling for, your discovery calls, your one-to-ones, your workshops. But what about your doctor's appointments? What about your kids' soccer games, right? All of those things are going to be probably in your personal calendar. So as long as you are connecting that to your Kartra account, those calendar events are going to sync with your Kartra calendar events. So Kartra knows, okay, they have a doctor's appointment on this day and at this time, so nobody else can book a call with you during those times. Just another way that Kartra helps protect your time there. And how do you remind people to show up, right? Of course, getting people to sign up is one thing, but getting them to show up is, the other half of the battle. Well, Kartra has the automated emails for you. So first is the confirmation message, and this is one email sent immediately after the booking is confirmed. So once, if you have the automatic approval, it's going to be sent to them immediately. If it's a manual approval, it'll be sent out after you manually approve that booking, right? And then the confirmation is going to provide them with all the information. Usually it's just like a hello, thanks for signing up. Everything's confirmed. Here's your call details. Whereas the reminder emails, these are multiple emails sent out before and after the session based on your preferred timing. So for example, maybe you have an email going out 24 hours before the session, or maybe you have an email going out 1 hour before the session, right? You can have full control over how many reminder emails you're setting up, what the timing is on those emails going out. And there are dynamic variables in those emails so you can customize them, right? So you only have to write the emails once, and then anyone that's signing up for your calendar is going to automatically receive these emails based on the timing of their specific session. Alrighty, and we are getting close to the end here, which is one of the final steps. Is now that once everything is built with your calendar, how are you going to go ahead and share it? Well, Kartra makes it very easy for you to share your calendar. There are a couple ways that you can do it. The first and the easiest way is just to share a direct link to your calendar. Kartra provides you with direct links to a lot of things that you build in your account, and it's just a simple, what we call Kartra generated page, where it just has your logo at the top, a plain background, and your calendar design at the forefront. The other option is to embed it to an external page using code. So if you have your own pages or websites, you can just simply copy the code in the embed section afterwards and then paste it into your website, and you have a calendar now on your website for people to book from. Another easy option is just to link it to a button on any page. Typically, you'll just use the direct link to your calendar, or if you're in Kartra, you can just select what Kartra calendar you want when you're editing a button. And then the last option is just to embed it directly to a Kartra page just by dragging and dropping it onto that page there. And to give you guys a little more visual on how this all would look, on the right-hand side here, you can see an example of the direct link. And this is kind of what I showed you earlier, right? Where it just has the calendar information on the left-hand side, the scheduling on the right-hand side, and that's it, right? Just a very plain, simple calendar. Whereas on the left-hand side, this is what it would look like if you embedded it to a page. So you can see here's our website where we have like our header, our little intro box, some information, and then the calendar is embedded below that. Then below the calendar, we have some more, important next steps and some more information below that, right? So you can see embedding it to a page gives you a little more freedom, a little more control over how the design is. You can add more information and context to your page about the call. Whereas if you just want to send it out to someone quickly, the direct link is always an easy way to do that, just to get somebody to easily book with you. And all right, that concludes our live presentation. So we're going to kick it off here with the live demo. Looks like we have a lot of people in the chat sharing information. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to put them in, because after our live demo, we're going to start going through your questions and answering them all for you. So take it away, Shannon.
Yeah, hello, everybody. You can hear me good enough? Yep. Cool. Perfect. Well, let's get going. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And today in this live demo, we're going to be showing you how to build that consultant calendar, the one-to-one. And it's going to be a free consultant calendar. So if you guys want to set up your own consultant type calendars, this will be a great demo to watch later as you set yours up as well. So let's jump in right now. Here we go. So I will share. Actually, I think I have to, pull it and do the whole tab. Sorry, guys. There we go. You guys can see my whole window. It's zoomed in enough. Looks good.
Yep, looks good.
Perfect. So to start this demo off, I'm going to be starting in the calendar section of your account, which is located under events and then calendars. So that is how you will get to this specific tab to start creating your own calendar after this call. And so the first thing I really want to highlight is one of the things we talked about, which is setting up that virtual meeting room integration. So it's not going to be set up directly within the calendar. You first are going to need to go to settings and click on integrations and integrate whatever meeting room you decide to use. So if that's Zoom, use Zoom, or Google Meet, use Google Meet. And once you have that integrated, then the setup with the calendar is going to allow you to seamlessly connect those two platforms. So we pretend we just went through the whole integration process. It's all set up. Now we're going to start building out our first calendar. So with this, to start building a calendar, you're going to want to click this plus calendar button. And it's going to take you into the option to choose which calendar type. Alex went over each type earlier, and based on what you need to do, you would select that calendar type. You can create unlimited calendars. So, for each type of event you want to host, you can, craft each calendar for those events. But today we're going to be focusing on a discovery call calendar. And it's going to be our free calendar that is going to be a one-to-one consultant calendar. So we'll go ahead, make sure consultant's selected. Again, you can go through and select whichever one makes the most sense for you, but we are going to go with consultant today. So with that, I will click create. And we have the calendar ready to start setting up. So we're going to go through the steps of each tab within the calendar to make sure we go through all the settings you're going to want to think about as you go through this setup process. So first, when you come to the scheduling section, one of the most important things here is making sure you designate what your class name is. On that example that Alex showed you, you noticed that it said, the class title. It might have had that description. So this information is going to be pulled from here. So it's important that you are considerate of what you decide to put here as your sign up registration. Your guests who are coming to this calendar link will see this. So this is where you're going to add your class title. You'll also notice right here, you can add additional classes. So that gives you the option if you have this discovery call calendar and you want to have multiple team members with various time slots taking these calls. You can break it up into classes and assign different team members to those classes to help conduct those discovery calls. So that's a little bonus you guys can always check out if you have a team that's going to be handling different parts of your calendar booking processes. The next thing that you guys will want to update is going to be how long. So because today I'm focusing on a free discovery call calendar, I'm going to set this to 0 hours and we're going to do a 20-minute discovery session. And I can also select who is going to be taking these calls. So by default, it's going to be the account owner. So if that's you, it's going to have you as the host of the call. But you can also select a team member if your team is going to be running those calls. And finally, you can select what your availability is. By default, we have sometimes pre-selected. So you're going to want to make sure you come in here and adjust your availability, or people will be able to book with you at 5 p.m. By default. So let's go ahead and remove these two because that doesn't align with my time. And I'm going to say I will have mornings available on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I'm going to do just a couple sessions. Let's start about 9 a.m. Maybe we'll do 10 and we'll do 11. So I'm allowing 3 sessions on those days max for myself so that I can go ahead and get people starting to book on my calendar during the times that I have available. From there, we go down to the total number of sessions. So with all of these, you'll want to make sure that you are saying, how much people can book, what the minimum booking notice is, so how far out they can book or how close they can book. So for example, with our onboarding calendar, we usually have a 1-day notice so we can prep for that call. We don't want them to be able to book the same day because we want to be able to, get ready to meet with whoever we're connecting with. Another thing you can do is, block maybe all of the holidays before your calendar goes live, knowing that you're going to be off on every holiday. So you do have the ability to block specific dates in the future that you don't want people to schedule with. So this is going to be the first settings you're going to go through, which is the scheduling section. And you're going to want to decide, how you want to meet with people, when you want to meet with people, and, the time range of when they can book with you too. So With that, we're going to go up to the top after we've gone through all of these and click on Save. And next, you can see is the sync section. So this is what we just did, where we went to the settings and we integrated our calendar, or sorry, our not calendar, our Google Meet or Zoom link. So from here, this is where you can say you want to connect your meeting room down at the bottom. You can also sync your Google Meet calendar, or sorry, your Google Calendar. And so with the Google Calendar, when you sync that, that is what Alex had spoke about earlier. That helps you block off your personal time. That helps you block off vacation. So if your calendar is synced, you have the ability to select that integration and make sure if you block something out in Google, it's also going to block it out in your Kartra calendar. This is a way to protect your time so that you're not having bookings coming in when you're out of the office. So this is a really great integration to use if you're going to be setting up this type of calendar. Make sure you click Save. Then, like I mentioned, the next step would be selecting your meeting room. And also this one is if you have multiple calendars, you don't want those bookings to conflict. You have full control over which one it aligns with or conflicts with, essentially. So you can sync your internal Kartra calendars as well. But for now, we're going to change this meeting room option to, we're going to also select Google Meet. And like I said, if you select the meeting room integration, you can select Zoom or Google Meet. And for today, we selected Google Meet because we already synced it at the Google Calendar stage. It already is synced and ready to go once we select it at this meeting room section. So let's go ahead, move along, and click Save. So this sync section is complete. We have now set up, how we can automatically connect with people, and we've protected our time when we want to block out personal time on our Google Calendar so that it doesn't show up on the Kartra calendar. From there, the next step we're going to go into is design. And this is going to be, where you're going to add your logo, pick a theme color that aligns with your branding. So today we are going to add our logo and select our theme color. With your logo, it's could be something you've already uploaded into your image library, which is where you can have unlimited files, videos, etc. that you upload into Kartra. So I'm selecting it from there and confirming. Now my logo is ready. You can see it was added to the top of the sample page. And I also am going to customize, what color I think will be the best. Let's just do, maybe we'll do a dark gray. Perfect. And come back. And we have now, you can see the gray, or if I do pink, it's going to be the default colors on the calendar that they see. So you would want to align it maybe with that brand. So for now, I'm just going to go back to my custom color and click it again. Sorry, guys. Got to click it and it's done. Perfect. Cool. So there is a little bit of how you can design your calendar. If you're using that default link, this is going to show your logo at the top. If you decide to embed it on a page, it will look a little different. But for now, we'll move to the next step. And that is going to be the registration step. So as Alex talked about earlier, you have two options. You can set your registration as free, or you can select paid. When you select the paid option, it is going to prompt you that you need to have set up a product. So if you do want to set up your calendar as a paid option, you'll just need to come to sales and create a product here. Once you create a product, you set the pricing, you would connect it at this stage. But today we are showing you a free discovery call calendar, so we are going to go with the free option. And as you notice right here, this is going to be where you can add more fields. By default, it collects your first, last, and email. But if you do have custom fields that you want to add to your registration process, this is where you would add those custom fields. And we'll click save and leave it as is for now. And finally, the time zone conversion. If you want to let people select their respective times, or if you want them to have to book in your time, that's where you'll select that setting. Next, we're going to go to what they see right after they book with you. So they finished filling out their contact information, they selected their time, and now they're going to get a message that says success. You've successfully booked with us, maybe some of the next steps they need to take. So with this message, you have the ability to display a confirmation message automatically that's designed in the system, or you can actually create a landing page that you connect as a, thank you for signing up, if you need to include more details than what Kartra provides by default. So with this default message, you can, have your headline, subhead, and then whatever information you need to, instruct people after they book a call with you. Another cool thing to remember with this step, I always like to point out is it does have the add to calendar option. So as soon as people book, they can click that button and they'll get that'll be connected to a dynamic link that says, add this option to your calendar today. And it'll allow them to add the session. So it gives them an even greater chance of showing up now. And speaking of showing up, once you decide on your confirmation message, and that is all done, the next important piece of your calendar setup is going to be the emails that you're sending. So for your calendars, you have the ability to, choose your send from email, and when they reply to it, what email desk is that going to go to for you? And so this is where you'll configure that first piece. The second piece is going to be the messages that are being sent to their inbox. So the first one that happens right when that appointment is approved is the booking confirmation message. So you can go in here, you can customize. Sorry, guys. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So with this message, you can customize it. You can align it with your branding. You can go in and edit it. And as you can see here, there's going to be dynamic details that are automatically populated that you can completely customize, remove anything you don't want, add anything else. And if you click on this button right here, you'll also see more dynamic details as well. So you have that meeting room link, which is going to be important if you're meeting virtually, to make sure you add it to your email so that, people are showing up. So we're going to go ahead and add this one there. And if you have your meeting room password protected, we'll add that password dynamic variable as well. So we'll copy this and go ahead and throw that in there too. So like I just showed you, you have the ability to add more to your email. You also can, not just do plain text, you can also do rich HTML as well if you want it to be a little more aligned with your branding, maybe a header at the top with your logo. Really, the email building within the calendar configuration is very similar to the rest of the emails that you're going to be building in Kartra. So with that just shows you a little bit of the main pieces of setting up your emails, always ensuring you have your meeting room information so that it gets delivered automatically to them from Zoom or Google Meet, depending on what option you decide to use. And let's go ahead and save for now and exit back to the main screen. There we go. So we just set up our confirmation email. And now we're going to go ahead and set up our email reminders. Similar to the confirmation email, it's going to be that email builder. So if you have a style you like to use within the confirmation email, you can always set it as a favorite and use it in the rest of your other email reminders as well. When you decide to send a reminder, you have a few options. It will send up to 5 prior to the session, so you can decide what timing makes the most sense. You have up to as many days out, but you also have the last time is going to be 1 hour before the session. You come in here to edit it, and then also when you want to add a new one, just click this plus new reminder button. You can also designate if you want it to be before or after the session. So this is where you're going to be in control of what emails are going out before and after your session, depending on what information you need to get to the people who are signing up and attending. So with that, we just went through the email section. If you guys have any questions, throw them into the chat right now, and we will answer them in the Q&A a little later. One of the final steps, we got 2 more to go, and then we'll go into a little sample of what that sign-up flow looks like. But one that I mentioned earlier, and this is great for discovery calls specifically, is the session approval. So with this session approval, you can say, if someone gets books, I want it to be approved instantly. They're going to receive the confirmation email you saw earlier instantly, and they're going to be added to the calendar agenda for you to connect with them on that day. Whereas the other option is manual. Like Alex said earlier, maybe you want to add a custom field to the registration form where they answer a specific question. Maybe that question triggers a tag. Maybe that tag, says that this person is someone I definitely want to meet with. So you're kind of doing your own funneling down, I guess you could say, to ensure that you're spending time with the people who are, answering the questions or answering, your specific requirements before you actually connect in a call. So with that, you have the 2 options here, and we'll go ahead and click, we're going to do instant approval for us and save. And finally is the automation section. So you have the ability to add any type of automation. We have tags, lists, sequences, and then you can do standalone automations as well. So if someone books time with you, what is something that you want to happen? Do you want them to be added to an email sequence where you're upselling your product? Do you want them to be added or do you want them to have a tag added saying, like, this person registered for your calendar? So you can look in the future at everyone who has registered for your calendar. So this is going to be, we're going to set up those automations that can eventually trigger other things to happen too. But the most important one we're going to add today is we're using this discovery call calendar as kind of a lead magnet. So we're going to go ahead and add them to list. Let's just go to any new subscriber. We want to make sure anyone who is signing up is on our new subscriber list. Maybe we want to start promoting our products to them eventually too. So from there, we have gone through all the steps in the calendar. I'm going to go ahead and show you how the booking process works, and then we're going to look at how you manage your calendar. So with that, I'm going to pull up that sample calendar we just created. I have to publish. Don't mind me, guys. Make sure you click publish. So that is a very important piece of this process, or you will see the error message that I just saw. So let's try this again, where the calendar is now published. And that's my fault. There we go. There we go. 3rd time's the charm. So with that, you can see I have my Monday, Wednesday, Friday options available. So I am on the Pacific Coast, so it's showing that by default. But say I wanted to book in Eastern time and see the times in Eastern time, I can adjust that as someone who lands on this calendar. I'm going to go ahead and select my time and click on next. Then I will be entering my name and email. And we are going to go ahead and agree because I am in California, so it makes me. And from there, you can see we have that add to calendar button. As I'm registering, I want to add it to my calendar right away. and then whatever, default message that you want to send to people who are booking. So that's a very simple flow with just the default calendar URL link, which is right up here for you to use. So if you don't embed it on an external site or a Kartra page, that is that default link. And from there, now that we've shared the calendar and we had a booking, let's look at how you manage some of those bookings in Kartra. So with that, you can see right here that I had someone new sign up. I had someone visit my page, which was me. So you'll be able to see kind of an overview of that here. And then which can let you understand conversion, total visitors to signups. And then you can also look at the schedule and adjust the schedule at any time quickly from this dashboard. You can look at a list of all of the subscribers, past and present. And then this is where you would go to clone or delete any calendars you're no longer needing. If you have a calendar you've already set up, cloning is a really quick way to duplicate it, all the emails, every setting that you've already established, and have another copy of that calendar again too. So that is a big time saver if you're going to be setting up multiple of the same type of calendar. And then we'll go to the agenda section. So as you can see, I just booked this 9 o'clock slot on Friday, tomorrow, and it shows up in my agenda along with maybe any other calls I have upcoming. I can easily get into the Google Meet from here. I can reschedule it from here. I also can click on the lead profile. And like I said, with that discovery call, maybe I added a tag, because they answered a question a certain way. I can see an overview of their profile directly from the agenda. So anytime you're managing your bookings, it's a really quick, easy way to go and see anyone who's coming through and start to organize. And the final thing I wanted to show you that's kind of cool is you can see every automation that happened. They got to the calendar, they visited the page. That's where that page visit comes in. We subscribed to it, we filled it out, we booked a time slot. That list subscription, new subscribers was added automatically. Then also the confirmation was sent and that email was opened. So from there, we're going to go ahead and click save. And that is an overview of calendars. We have showed you today how you can plan out your session, what session type, how to configure it, and then also how to share your link to get people to book live. With that, I'm going to hop into the Q&A to start answering your questions in the last 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. That was great. Awesome. So yeah, guys, now we're going to hop into the Q&A portion here, start answering all of your questions. Shannon, if you just want to get familiar with some of the questions here, I'll kind of do a quick little introduction kind of bonus for you guys here. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll hop in there. And let me zoom in a little bit for you. So one thing I do want to show you here, and here's the calendar that Shannon just set up here. If we go to just the, subscribers, right? And we were to see all the people that came in. Let's see. So here's Shannon, right? If you go to anyone in your lead profile and you go to the calendar section, and let me move my thumbnail that way you guys can see here. There's a calendars tab in everyone's lead profile here. And this is where you can go to manually schedule time with people. So maybe somebody reaches out to you and they're like, hey, I want to meet with you at so-and-so time. Can you just book it for me? Or maybe, somebody cancels their session and you're like, oh, let's just reschedule this for another time. Or maybe you cancel the session and want to manually reschedule it. Whatever the case may be, you can always go to the calendar section of somebody's profile. Just find them.
I see your screen, but it's not showing for some reason. I guess it's a black page. Some other people can only see a black screen too.
All right. It might be here. Let me try restarting this. Can you see it now? Let's see. Go in, entire screen, share. Let me know if you guys can see it now.
I'm just going to wait a couple
just
seconds.
to get a confirmation from everyone. Oh, awesome. Okay, Great. So, yes, basically what I did is just went to somebody's lead profile, like here, Shannon's profile that she showed you earlier, and there is a calendars tab, right? So all you got to do is go to the calendars tab, and in here you can see the call that she booked with you. So if you want to cancel it for whatever reason, maybe they reach out to you saying they want to cancel, or you have something come up, you can always go in here and click X to cancel the subscription. Or if you want to manually schedule it, you can just go in here and choose your calendar, choose the class, and then manually enter the time. So we'll say, oh, we're going to meet with them on Valentine's Day at, I don't know, noon, right? So you can go in here and manually schedule the time that you're going to meet with this person. Hit say, what's it called? Register at the bottom right here. Oh, if it'll let me click it. There we go. And then you should be, you can see the new session in there now. So now this person has 2 sessions, right? So that's how you're going in and manually scheduling time. If you guys ever need to do that, just pull up the profile, go to calendars, and you can input it in there. But all right, let's get into some of these questions here.
Okay, from Helen, the first question we had earlier was, how can I ensure I add a client session that they book into both my diary and some of my team members? So probably more that integration piece with the Google Calendar.
Yeah, I was about to say, client session that they book into both your diary and some of your team members. Yeah, I'm not too sure actually what you mean by that, Helen. Do you know, Shannon, a little more?
Yeah, I think it has to deal with, like, if you have a team that's going to be booking sessions. That's where you would go back and probably create individual classes. You can integrate multiple Google Calendar integrations. So if you set up one for you, one for your team members, or one for each team member, then those sessions will be blocked out for the team. If it is going to be something where you're scheduling a session for just your team and you, that would be where they would need to add it to their calendar, and then that would block it out automatically too. So depending on how I add a client session that they book. So depending on how you decide to manage it, it would be either classes if you have your team booking individual sessions, or I think that's what you mean actually there. So I'm not even going to go into the other option again. But so if you have your team, you can set up individual classes, and you can actually connect a Google Calendar per class. So it doesn't have to be the same Google Calendar. It could be different ones per class. So that's where you would set that up.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone can have their own Google Calendar synced with their own class. Yep.
But something just to be wary of is team members are account specific. So you have limits on total number of team members you can have based on whatever account or like what account level you're at for like starter or growth, etc. So you would want to make sure you add each of those team members to Kartra as a team member in order to set up that connection too. So awesome. If you have any other follow-up questions, Helen, feel free to throw it in the chat just to make sure that, yes, multiple integrations, mine and your teams, exactly. And just, we can show you, like if you add that class, we'll show you the section real fast too.
Yeah, so you can add a new class. I'll just say class 2. Right. It doesn't matter about the duration, but here you can select a new team member. So say this was my class. I can go in here and be the owner, and I can select my available days times. So say I'm taking Tuesdays and Thursdays at those same times.
9, 10.
I'll just say 9, 10, 11, right? Hit add. And now I can hit save, right? So now I have a class here. If somebody goes to the calendar, they can see, oh, I want to meet with Alex. He has availability on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Or I want to meet with Shannon, and she has availabilities on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, right? So that's kind of how the different class structure works that way.
And then if you were to go to the sync section, you can see that it gives you now that second class option where you can select a completely different calendar. We only have one integrated with our account, but if you had multiple that you had integrated with your various team members, that would be where you select that option per team member.
Yep, so you'll see class 1 is my calendar, but maybe class 2 we have set up with someone else's calendar, right? So you're able to choose that. for each one. Same with the meeting room too.
Yep, perfect. Awesome. Well, we'll move on to Michelle's question. For paid calendar event, is the rule of thumb to embed the calendar link or the product link into the sales page? This is where I get confused.
You are just embedding the calendar. Yeah, it's all going to be part of the calendar. So basically how you'll do it is when you go to set up your products, so you go to sales products here, and when you're building a new product, it's going to ask you like, what is this product, right? Is it a Kartra membership? Is it integrated? No, you're going to select other. So basically there's going to be no access page. You're still going to set up all the pricing, everything with that. But then once your product is all set up, you don't need to worry about your product links, your checkout links, anything like that. You're just going to go back to your calendar and you're going to add it to your calendar. So if we go to our discovery call one and we were to say this is a paid one, we'll go over to registration and we'll say maybe this one is a paid session. And then you're connecting that product that you just built. I don't think we have one. I'll just choose this, right? And then what this is saying is that when somebody goes to sign up and they're going through your calendar, right? You're just embedding your calendar to whatever page you have. They go sign up and there's going to be another step in the process where they'll have to go and pay. So let's see, like if we save this now that it's a paid calendar and I were to go to it, you should see that extra step. So we'll go in, I'll hit discovery call, choose my time, hit register, and you'll see connecting to secure payment server. And now it has all the checkout details available right within the calendar. So all you got to do is connect it and then share your calendar and Kartra will handle the rest for you.
Perfect. Next question was from Matt. How do you enable functions on the left?
Enable functions on the left. I think what you mean maybe is like, do you mean like in this section of the calendar?
Oh,
I was asking his question during the time when you were going over the emails, the reminder emails. I think he's asking, so when you're going over the reminder emails, you have the regular design. So go into the email. So we didn't use an actual template. Right. So he's asking about the components on the side.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. So this is with any email that you're building in Kartra. By default, it'll be what's called plain text, which is what you're seeing here, right? Just standard text email like you would write, in Google or anything else, Gmail, whatever. To access these components, you need to replace the template either with one of the pre-built templates. You can do a plain template if you want to build from scratch. We'll just choose one, or you can save your own templates too if you have your own email design and use one of those. But let's just say we'll just choose one of these templates so you can see. I'll just choose this one, hit done, replace. All right, and now you can see all of the components on the side lit up because now I have an actual email builder, right? We call this the rich HTML. So you can go in here and add things like headlines if you wanted to now and just drag and drop them into the email builder. And this is how all emails work in Kartra. When you're building them out, at first, you'll always see it as plain text. You have to go and hit replace template to, actually get the email builder templates that you want to use.
And something to note is when you do use a template, when you're converting with, from plain text to templates with specifically the calendar, is those dynamic variables are going to be washed away. Yeah. So you will want to make sure you go back through and add whatever dynamic variables you want. So up at the top again is where the dynamic variables section is. You click it, you can copy and add that to the content of your designed email too. Yeah. So just because you're using plain text doesn't mean that you still don't get those dynamic variables from this email too. So.
Yep. So yeah, good tip. Always make sure you're adding your dynamic variables back because again, this is how people are getting their specific information for their call, right? What time the call is, what the name of the class, if you have your meeting room and the password, all those things should be added back to your email.
Perfect. Great question, Matt. And thank you for helping us find that, Amanda.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the hard part about Q&A Live is getting back to where we were at. So thank you for connecting those dots.
Also, I will mention to you guys too, if you are testing your emails, because you'll see the send a test, that dynamic variables do not work in test emails. So don't freak out if you test an email and you're like, where's the link? Why is it not populating the right information? Just make sure the formatting is correct. As long as the dynamic variable still appears in that response, it'll work, when the real email is sent.
Mm-hmm. We had another question that is actually a great question from Michelle too. It's back to a paid calendar option. She was wondering if she can have a product sell a live event and access to the membership portal at the same time. So yes, with Kartra, there's going to be a lot of cool additional automations that you can trigger when someone buys a product. So it really is going to depend on what you want to trigger, but a lot of that will happen from the product sale. So if you're selling access to a membership portal, you can set that up as a kind of stacked product a little bit. I'm totally drawing a blank on the word I'm looking for right now.
There's a few ways you can do it, right? You can do it as an automation, right? So say this was our product for, our calendar, and we're linking this product directly to our calendar. One way you can do it is just add it as an automation where you're saying, if somebody purchases this product, then grant them access to my membership. And then you'll just choose, where is it? Grant access to membership, choose your membership that you're using, which would be your course, right? And then choose the access level, whatever access level you have, right? So we'll say paid access. And then we'll say this product, you're always selecting, you're designating what product they have to specifically purchase to get it. But basically how this works now is we have our product set up with our integration rule, and this product is going to be connected to our calendar. So when somebody goes to our calendar, they book it, they're able to book their time. And then on the back end, after they book their time, they're also getting access to the Kartra membership. The other way that you could do it is kind of how Shannon was saying, where maybe you just have a product sale that somebody's purchasing, and then after that sale, you're sending them a link to your calendar, and that calendar, but in that process, the calendar link would kind of be free, right? Because you don't want them to purchase again after, making that initial sale. So it just kind of depends on how you want the customer to go through that process. If it makes more sense for them, to book their call and get access, and you could say something like, hey, book your time, you'll also get access to so and so course. They can just book through your calendar and use this automation. Otherwise, you can just have it as a regular sale, and then as part of when you're setting up a product, you can choose different pages. Maybe on the thank you page or the success page, wherever they're going after they purchase, you give them a link to your calendar so they can book a time with you. Again, though, that calendar link just has to be free, not paid, because you're going to have back-to-back checkouts in that case, right? Anytime you have a paid calendar, they're going to have to check out as part of that calendar registration. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Let me know if you have any more questions about that.
Yeah, and it looks like that actually wraps up our last question today. Unless I missed anything, if I did, I'll give you guys a few more seconds, 30 seconds or so to throw anything last minute in the chat. But I hope that everything we went over today really shows you how you can maximize all different types of calendar models that you can select from: consultant, recurrent, gym, or live event. Creating multiple for different, I always say parts of your business, depending on what you're trying to do. I notice a lot of you aren't just using calendars one way. A lot of you guys are using calendars 3-4 ways. So you have different ways to set those all up in Kartra too.
Yeah. And again, you can set up multiple calendars, right? Maybe you have your discovery call calendar, maybe you have your workshop calendar, right? All the different scheduling options available, have them available on your websites, have booking buttons for people to easily access them. And you're going to be, taking calls in no time. But yeah, it looks like we are perfectly at time here anyway. So that was great timing on everyone's part. Thank you all for joining us. Barb, I saw you in the chat earlier ask, how often do we do these events? We do them once a month. So keep an eye on your inbox, keep an eye on the little notification bell at the top of your Kartra accounts, because whenever we plan these events, they'll be announced there. So yeah. And again, a recording will be sent to everyone. Keep an eye on your inbox today. I think it goes out, about an hour from now or so. So
Yep.
Yeah.
2 hours after the event. So.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for joining us again, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Hi, guys.
Bye.